Well, US President Barack Obama and his Chinese counterpart Hu Jintao have agreed to work more closely together after talks in Beijing. Both leaders agreed on the importance of a global deal on climate change at next month's Copenhagen summit. But the issue of protectionism continued to cause a rift between the two sides. Now, for more on the meeting, we are joined live from Beijing by author and journalist Pepe Escobar. It's very good to have you with us today, sir. I'll start off with my first question. Now, to put it simply, is this meeting likely to have achieved anything, or was it just another photo opportunity?
No, it's not. Basically, nothing is going to happen. In fact, President Hu Jintao didn't even mention anything regarding the possible devaluation of the yuan. This is what they discussed, of course, in the back rooms. And obviously, China said, no, we're not going. We want to keep growing. We want to reach our target of growing 8% this year, and we're not going to devalue the yuan. Maybe later, when we keep on growing more than 8%.
Now, Obama said that China and the US should treat each other as equals. Is this the first post-crisis sign that America's global reach is waning?
Well, this is what President Obama is saying, but nobody in Asia, I would say, and parts of the global south, is absolutely sure that the generals in the Pentagon are listening to that. Because for the Pentagon, what's important is full spectrum dominance. And the way China and Russia, both of them interpret it, is America is still trying to encircle both with an empire of military bases.
Now, do you think this was a sign that the US administration has realized the increased clout that China carries over Washington now that it's America's largest creditor?
Yes, it's true. So I can imagine the reaction of Chairman Mao and the little helmsman Deng Xiaoping up there in heaven, as the Chinese would tell us, at the sight of an American president coming here 11 years after President Bill Clinton, not to lecture China, but to agree that China is, in fact, a peer. Obama stopped short of calling China a rival, and that's exactly the thinking in Washington among Pentagon and CIA circles. But at least he acknowledged publicly that they are peers. So, in fact, this is an acknowledgement of a G2 between the US and China, the two most powerful countries in the world at the moment.
Now, Obama's presidency so far has been notable for his attempts to reach out to countries largely ignored during the Bush era. Do you think he's achieved this here, and how effective is that policy proving?
It's very hard to tell because Obama spent 3 days in China. He saw a little bit of Shanghai. He didn't see much of Beijing. I wish he had the time to just stroll around one of the infotech markets near Beijing, for instance, or go to the Pearl River Delta, the hub of manufacturing to the whole planet. Then he will understand the depth and the extreme complexity of the Chinese miracle. I'm not sure you can grasp that in only 3 days. That's a real pity, actually.
Now, both countries have agreed there needs to be an accord, not just political promises. At next month's climate change summit, what effect will their strong backing have on the discussions?
Well, the thing is that the summit in Copenhagen has already been derailed by what was discussed during the APEC summit in Singapore. In fact, nobody agreed to anything. And obviously, the US and China, as the world's major polluters, they still have to make major concessions, and these concessions are not going to happen in Copenhagen in December. Maybe Copenhagen will be a first step towards major concessions in 2010 and 2011. So from the point of view of environmentalists all over the world, it's a very, very disappointing picture, I would say.
Fascinating insight indeed. That was author and journalist Pepe Escobar, live from Beijing. Thank you for your time.